Hello and welcome back to My Mom's Basement, presented by Barstool Sports and 3Chi. It is Robbie and Clem back for another quick hitter on Stranger Things, Season 4, Volume 2, Part 1. A lot of numbers involved in this, but I think I got them all right there.
I feel like such a fucking square when I try to write the title for my Barstool blog, and I'm like, I want to put Volume 2, Episode 1, but it's like, come on, man, it's like the latest Stranger Things. It should just be whatever, but they fucking ruined our brain.
I
Or
feel
we
like
just
we
call
need the Dewey Decimal System to find these episodes at this point.
Dewey Decimal, all-time great call. I love referencing the Dewey Decimal System. We just should call this episode Papa. I saw Papa, and I said, well, guess Eddie is one on the board for the death pool because that motherfucker's dying. You name a horror show, have the name of a character in it, and it's nearing the end of a season, that motherfucker is dead. And that's what I said. Papa has to be dead meat. That guy has to be fucking cooked. And he got cooked. Again, I'm pretty sure Papa died in season 1. I'm not going to go back and watch it.
Maybe in season 2 as well. Who knows?
They just kill him every season. It's like he's the Hawkins version of Kenny from South Park.
Yeah. You killed Papa. You bastard.
You bastard. And then so it's like I knew Papa was going to get cooked. And then the biggest thing on my mind was my sweet Nancy going to escape the Upside Down? She escapes the Upside Down, and then she's dropping Stranger Things spoilers on her friend. She's like, this is what happens. And I'm like covering my ears. I'm like, sweet Nancy, don't tell me what's going to happen here. I want to watch Volume 2, Episode 2 tomorrow. So I thought that was it was a really fun way to kick it off. And
creepy scene to open the episode. Yeah, when Vecna's walking down the hallway telling her, like, here's what you have to tell 11. Like, show her all of this. And he's giving her the visions of Hawkins. But like she says, not the upside down Hawkins, they're Hawkins. All of that I thought was like a kick-ass way to open it. Like you said, when I saw it was Papa, I was like, all right, that's a little like, hey, thanks for being a great actor throughout this series. This is your last episode. We'll name it after you.
Yeah, and like that, Matthew Modine, right? He must be so happy that he kind of got like another second. Him and Kate Bush, the two big winners of Stranger Things.
Paul Reiser too.
Yeah, Paul Reiser as well. 80s having a big time comeback and all this, and we so I guess we'll go kind of in the order of the episode. Our boy Hopper talking to Winona. We're just going to say her name as it is. People thinking you're dead in your town, calling you a hero, and they have a funeral for you must be such an awesome feeling. Like
you get all the flowers. Yeah, you get to see like, oh, that's what they would have thought.
It's great. They always say funerals are wasted on the dead. And I remember with Portnoy said this about somebody. Who did he say it about?
Oh, was it Pete Freights?
Yes, it was Pete Freights, where he misreported his unfortunate untimely passing. And they're like, no, Pete's still alive, Dave. And it's like, oh, well, good. And he gets to know just how much everyone loves him. And I think there is a point to be made that there should be if someone's especially gravely sick, fucking a celebration of life should be done. We're normalizing celebrations of life here in the basement. I don't know how we're going to do it, but we're going to fucking do it. The Demo Dogs in the tank. How to put it, Bob? Is this the key to Snook? Is this the Emperor? Man,
Snook.
What a
Snoke.
Snoke.
I need that. That's the name of one of the failed clones. Snook. They're like, he wasn't great.
Just be happy I didn't call him Snood. I was pretty close to calling him Snood there. I was like, what was his name? And I put Snook. Nope, it's Snook. That just shows how much I enjoyed this
funny. That's like the horrible stepbrother. He was not creepy enough for Ray and Kylo.
Exactly. And then we kind of get Elle. She's basically going to become she's using Elle in Vegas. I love that plan by Will. It's we just bring her
when
there.
She lifts the thing, it kind of reminded me of Yoda lifting the X-Wing. Oh my God, the height of her powers are back. Seeing everything after she knows what went down, basically being able to tell Papa went down too, because I feel like since that moment he hasn't known either, but now he gets to see it through her memories. And okay, but Papa, in the end, it was kind of one of those who's the chick from Game of Thrones that died with her brother at the end, where you're like, yeah, her brother was kind of shitty after all.
Cersei and Jamie? Yeah. Don't you be calling Cersei like that. Don't be one of those dog walk guys who didn't even draft Cersei. Cersei, all right, listen. I apologize about this. I've been doing it on Twitter all the time, but this is my podcast with Bob. And I'm going to go on a little bit of a rant. Not drafting Cersei Lannister in the HBO character draft is one of the biggest examples of misjustice, injustice. I feel like Stephen A. Smith. I'm going on a rant here. It's preposterous. It's outrageous. It's outlandish. It should never happen. I cannot believe Cersei Lannister did not get drafted in that.
Arya being the first one was weird to me.
Yeah.
She wouldn't be my number one overall character from Thrones.
I love Arya. I love the Hound. I like appreciate the evilness of Ramsay Bolton. None of them are. They're 2 tiers minimum below Cersei Lannister. Again, that fucking scene where she plans out that entire like the spoilers,
the green explosion
yeah,
stuff.
the Sept Baylor or whatever it's called, and she blows up all her enemies, and she sips wine, smirks, and her son kills himself, and she's like, whatever, that's just fucking the cost of business. The fucking queen, man, literally and figuratively. But that's a whole thing for another time. I apologize. Going back to Elle and all these guys, we get Will's painting finally. And
yes.
Not gay, not gay, not Todd.
He might be gay still.
Oh,
he cried afterwards, right? He was kind of giving that speech about 11, but it might have been about him.
Yeah, exactly. I think you'd kind of connect the dots. You could kind of see the pain in his face. But we went really way too crazy with Will's painting looking back.
The painting was nice. It was just kind of like it made you nostalgic for them all playing Dungeons and Dragons together. He's like, look, you lead all of us. It was like a nice thing, kind of electing Mike as the leader of the friend group.
And then it's like, is this foreshadowing here? Because we're dealing with the triple-headed dragon and we have all the friends. And if Elle's the one telling him to draw it, it's like, what's going on in Elle's brain? So that's kind of
also a nice thing from Elle. You're like, oh, she was kind of the weirdo kid that didn't know how to fit in for a bit. Now she's commissioning paintings for her boyfriend. Like she's fully just like a normal kid at this point.
Yep. And even though she's hearing her friends talking about her weakness, that must be weird where it's like, well, we like Elle, but, and it's like, I don't even want to hear that. If my friends are ever talking about me, I don't want to hear what they're saying because I don't want to hear anything mean. The best case scenario is you found out your friends like you. You already know your friends like you. You don't know what they don't like about you. So I felt bad for Elle when she was kind of going back in there.
Yeah, definitely. I also saw an interview with Millie Bobby Brown recently where they asked her about the blood from her nose, and I never thought about it, but they were like, is that real or CGI? She said sometimes it's CGI, but 99% of the time it's real, and they had to come up with like a formula to inject a little thing into her nose. She said first it like ran down too fast, then it was too slow, but now they got it to where they inject it right before they hit action. She goes like this, and then they're like action, and she goes like that, and then it starts to leak. I thought that was just an interesting little thing, like, oh, how it's done.
When you said, is it real? I was like, do they like break her nose? Do they make her like, do they razor blade her nose like she's a wrestler and little blood?
They're like, all right, bring in the fluffer. And someone just goes, boom. Action.
Incredible. I loved Max when she says, try not to miss. That's basically like, go for the head.
Go for the head, yeah.
So, like, you should have went for the head. We get the Michael Myers mask, I'm sure. Bob Fox, are you a horror movie guy? I don't know. I know our boy Eddie
am,
is.
yeah. I'm very much an October horror movie guy. I might be a fair weather fan, if you call it that. But whenever October rolls around, I'll go on a binge and watch, a different horror movie every night. I love it.
Okay, you get into that. I'm scared.
And do you know what the original Michael Myers mask was made out of? You know that fun fact?
I just found out. Please tell the people. In fact, you should tell the people on a TikTok or a YouTube short and see if you go viral from it. Because our boy Bob Fox is killing it in the goddamn shorts game.
It is made out of an old Captain Kirk mask, William Shatner from Star Trek, and they just spray painted it white. I think they took the eyebrows off of it. They left the hair on it and everything. And that is Michael Myers. It's actually Captain Kirk.
That's crazy. I had no idea, and I've seen that mask has been in my life for as long as I've been alive, basically, right?
I do love Halloween, too. Out of all the horror franchises, I even like the new Halloween movies. Like, I know some people shit on the most recent one, but I think they're very fun come October time. I'm excited for the new one. Halloween ends this October.
I'm going to tell you, Halloween's not going to end. That's a prediction right now in the basement. There will
like
be another
Halloween 21. Halloween ends 6,
Like, guys, why are you even trying this anymore? We know that's all bullshit.
Yeah.
Our boy Eddie, I realized, has a ton of rings. Were you ever a ring guy? I bet I could see Bob. Okay, good.
I don't like rings or jewelry of any sort. I don't like wearing stuff like that. I have this. It's a little Baby Yoda bracelet my mom gave me, but it's rubber. I feel like it's different.
At the most, I can rock with a rubber bracelet. Like during the rubber band phase,
that's
during
the only thing I wear.
Strong. Yep, we had a Mets one that was a sponsor on the We Gotta Believe podcast once upon a time. I can't do chains even. I can't do any of that kind of stuff.
I would look weird with a chain. Me, come on.
Bob, I feel like you could be a ring guy though. Like just the tats. The tats beget rings upon you.
I could see myself getting tattoos on my fingers.
Are you gonna go tattoo fingers on us, Bob?
Oh yeah, probably.
Wedding ring? Is that gonna be the wedding ring? Tatted?
Maybe something for that. Yeah.
Breaking news in the basement. Bob Fox is going to be a wedding ring tattoo guy.
But
no, not getting married yet. No, we're not going to throw that out there. I don't want to get you in trouble right now.
You want to say that word through the walls.
Yeah, exactly. Ears perk up. The Lady Fox is in the house right now. I am further ahead than you. I will say this.
You finished it. I haven't. That's also something we should note. I have only watched the first part of the volume 2. Clem has seen both.
I will say this episode, though, I realized we're starting to step up the music budget. We got Credence, right? That scene with the trailer.
Used really well, too.
Absolutely perfect. Absolutely perfect. The way that came in, I watched it with some friends who we haven't watched any Stranger Things with. It was just because we were on vacation. 4 for 4 laughs. Everyone was cracking up. It was an absolute perfect thing. Kind of broke the tension a little bit and all that stuff. War Supply, the army over
store.
The army store. Did you have one of those growing up?
Yeah, there was one. I forget where. It might have been in Hackensack, but yeah, we definitely had one of those.
We had one that was called Mad Max in town, and that's where like kind of all like the Eddies of the world would go and shop and stuff like that. And then you go for Halloween once you become a punk and you start throwing eggs at houses and shaving cream houses, that's where you would go to get your camo. And my girl Nancy's a baddie, Bob.
Sawing off her shotgun.
Sawed off her fucking shotgun, and they're like, "Is that illegal?" And what did she say? She said, she had a great line about that. I can't remember
what she said. Yeah, it was Justin, a good line, a good response.
Are you now concerned that she knows you took her in the death pool and she's going to come for your ass?
You know what? A little bit. And I thought I should have taken Vecna in that moment. None of us took Vecna in that moment, and I was like, oh, damn, I went Nancy over Vecna. That was just a dagger to your heart.
He said we don't want Vecna to, like, because we like him as a villain. But you still shouldn't have taken my future wife.
I'd rather Vecna go than Nancy, though. I mean, come on.
I would fucking hope so, Bob, because I'm still a little angry at you if you can't tell.
That first scene, though, I was almost like, it was like if you took a big underdog in a fight and they kind of cracked someone in the beginning. Like when Vecna was talking to Nancy, I was like, I might have a shot at this.
Yep. This is my sports reference for the episode. I don't even know how I came to this one. It's like when you're facing like a Christian McCaffrey superpower in fantasy. Thursday night, he puts up like a 20. That's what Nancy's like. It's like, I should win this matchup, but it's like it's almost too good to be true. And my girl Nancy got out like I knew she would. We also saw her in the trailer get out of the upside down, which was very nice to see. I
love the team that was going to get 11 too in the pizza truck. Like that whole rescue mission, basically, very funny with Argyle. I love Argyle.
And the fact that they did a good job with that entire scene where they really kept you on your toes. You're like, all right, Papa's the enemy now. And they've thrown Riser in jail. Up here comes the military coming in. And then the military's coming. And then it's like, we got civilians. Like, our boys are here. Like
I know that was when they're like civilians, and you look over and it's the friggin' thing. It reminded me of an Endgame in the middle of that crazy battle when you hear like the Scott Lang truck, the little horn go off, and they're like, "Oh, it's the truck."
Yeah, and that was the kind of pop, right? Like even if you made it in your soul, you felt
and
that
you
thing.
knew it was coming, but it was just like you just wanted it. And then as soon as you see it from the helicopter's point of view, too, 11 doing the force with the helicopter. Badass, her throwing it down too eventually. That was awesome.
It's nice. We've talked about this with the Obi-Wan recaps of how it's cool to have Vader back in the mix, even though he's a badass motherfucker that like kills all the good guys. We have our own Vader now in 11, and I feel like she's leveling up now. It's like, all right, and then she takes down a fucking helicopter. I didn't even realize that was Millie Bobby Brown in the trailer. I thought it was a guy in terms of right in front of the explosion. That explosion scene was awesome. They cried.
Badass. We
said how expensive. It's like $30 million an episode. I feel like a lot of the money for like this season probably was in like volume 2. Like I wouldn't even give away anything about the next episode, but I just feel like in general,
surprise me. 2.5 hours.
1.5 hours. You're gonna have like a lot of shit. So taking the shots.
I can't wait to watch. I'm gonna watch it tonight. So maybe we'll do this tomorrow. We'll do the second recap tomorrow.
Beautiful. And again, taking the shot, it's kind of going back and forth. Are they going to take down 11? Are they not? Fuck the military guys in the helicopter have never done the right thing, like the right morally thing or the right thing that should be done when push comes to shove. It starts with the guys in Die Hard. We're going to need a couple new FBI agents, Agent Johnson and Agent Johnson, all the way to these fucking scumbags.
There's guys in Rise of the Planet of the Apes. I think they're told take the shot on Caesar when they're on the bridge, and then one of the big monkeys comes out off the Golden Gate Bridge and hits it. Are you Planet of the Apes guy? I loved the new Planet of the Apes trilogy.
Shout out, I believe it's a Churn in production.
It is a Churn in production.
Shout out, Mr. Churn in here. I like the first one. I just never got into the other ones. I think that was around the Dark Days of Kids.
They're badass movies. The second one, I've said, is like the Empire Strikes Back of ape movies.
Wow, that is Bob Fox doesn't throw around those proclamations all that much. So I'm going to write that.
That was the first one that Matt Reeves did from the Batman fame.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh shit! All right, so there
You
you
would
go.
like. I mean, we got literally apes on horseback with machine guns, like firing off. It's like, how could you not love that shit?
Exactly. And I think this episode, we can all agree, was like a souped up setup episode. I think the
Yeah.
Papa death, it doesn't hurt
It
as
didn't
much as
take
it.
anything away though. I feel like sometimes setup episodes, you're like, all right, that was just to set things up. I felt at the end of this like it was a good episode. I didn't like feel like, oh, they kind of gypped us on that one.
There were moments, right? There were moments.
Yeah.
The Papa death, maybe that Papa death hurts more for other people because they knew he was alive the whole time. I feel like I've seen him die on screen again, like Uncle Ben.
It didn't hurt
basically.
for me, especially at that point when he's running with the legs. Like, put her down. Fucking, we know you're dead. Go die.
I still don't know, like, if Papa was pure evil. Like, where does he fit? Is he chaotic good? Is he chaotic evil? Is he, neutral? I don't know.
He's such a tweener. He's right in the middle. That's why I compared him to almost like, didn't mean to compare him to Cersei because she was more straight evil. But Jaime, when he was like, by the end, you were like, oh, like Jaime's kind of a good guy. And then he just goes back and dies with his sister. You're like, oh, all that for that? Like, that's what I felt about Papa. Like, oh, you did all that good stuff too. You tried to redeem yourself. And then in the end, you kind of were going back on 11. I don't know.
Hand up. I ruined your analogy by going on a rant about people not drafting Cersei in a fucking draft that doesn't mean anything to the character thing. That's on me. But I'll be better for the finale. It's 2.5 hours. It is a fucking long ass time, but it's a lot of good shit. It's a lot of stuff that and we're gonna that's gonna be a long time recap, and then we're going to do a full season 4 recap next week. We're going to go in the office, get your boy KFC on. If anyone else wants to come on and chop it up with us, talk Stranger Things, because I do feel like I go what the biggest show in the world is based on the memes on Twitter, and this is just crushing.
There's a lot. I know. I'm trying to avoid everything. Every time I see Eddie playing guitar, I'm like, oh, look away. I know it's a spoiler from the finale. So we will see you for our finale recap coming later this week. And on the podcast feed, I'm going to compile all of them together. So all 9 episodes, I think that was how many there were all together. We're going to have back-to-back, and I'll put in little bumpers in between to kind of set each one up. So look out for that on the podcast feed if you haven't heard all of them. If you want to watch all of them, you could go back. They're all in one playlist on our channel. Thank you to everyone for tuning in. We'll see you for the finale recap.
Let's go.